There has been a trend of people making absolute versions of superheroes like Absolute Green Arrow and Absolute Ben 10, and I wanted to throw my pitch for Absolute Captain America. Now, if you're unaware of what absolute versions of superheroes are, they're pretty much a new comic line DC has started where they take away a core aspect of a character and see how they change as a character. The most popular version DC has done so far is Absolute Batman, who's a Batman who didn't grow up rich and instead became a city engineer, and the story pretty much shows how Batman changes as a character and how the world around him changes as a character too by seeing absolute versions of Batman's supervillains. Since Batman didn't grow up rich, Batman became much stronger to make up for that aspect, and he also got a new costume that has knives as ears and has an axe as a bat symbol, which is pretty cool if I do say so myself. There are also other versions of superheroes like a Superman who didn't grow up on a farm, and a Wonder Woman who grew up in hell instead of Themyscira and wields a Buster Blade sword and has a cool demon horse, which all of these characters just look so cool and they all have an interesting story going for them. And DC is also planning more absolute versions like this, like an Absolute Flash, which I am very excited for. But even though this is a DC comic what if, I wanted to take this into the Marvel universe and give an absolute version to Captain America. And I have personally come up with an absolute Captain America that I think fits perfectly into this model and fits perfectly into the absolute version idea that DC started. But before we get into my pitch, I just wanted to ask you guys to subscribe because 99% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed, so hit that subscribe button, it's free. But let's get back to the video. So fitting on theme with taking away an integral part of Captain America, like how they do with Absolute Batman by taking away his money. My first thoughts of taking away something from Captain America were one of the following: take away his shield, or maybe take away his super soldier serum. But then I thought, let's think bigger, and then thought of a better idea. What if we took away Captain America's patriotism? Now I know that might sound crazy, his name is literally Captain America, and patriotism is all about being proud of your own country, and him having Captain America perfectly shows that. But let me cook because I think it's a genius idea. So let me break it down for you. So keeping on theme of making Captain America stay true to his character, we don't want to change anything up with his story until he gets the super soldier serum. So Captain America is still bullied and still wants to do the right thing by fighting in the war to protect people, and is even willing to dive on a grenade like he does in the movie to protect everyone. But what we change about Captain America is the moment when he takes the super soldier serum. We change the serum so it's not the same serum that makes him peak human strength like the one he usually takes. No, what this new serum does is that it makes him more than that. From throughout Marvel history, we have seen all the failed super soldier serums like Hulk super soldier serum and Taskmaster serum, but I want to combine them all and make them into an ultimate serum that Captain America takes. So when Captain America takes his serum, instead of making him peak human, he turns into a man with the strength of the Hulk but still mentally Steve Rogers, making Steve Rogers the perfect super soldier. Now from this point on is where we get absolute Captain America. Unlike regular Captain America, who's not capable of ending wars single-handedly, this absolute Captain America is. Because of his Hulk-like strength and durability, he's pretty much boundless. We all know how strong Hulk is, and we have seen he's even capable of taking down worlds and some of the strongest Marvel characters in history. So absolute Captain America immediately ends World War II with no need of an atomic bomb to drop on Hiroshima or having to go into cryo sleep like how he does in his usual timeline. But with this much power, absolute Captain America becomes the ultimate world ender. And the reason why he becomes the ultimate world ender is because with all this power, he's able to end any war conflict by just choosing a side to fight on. So this version of Captain America doesn't just fight to end American conflicts, he is much bigger than that now. He fights to end all conflicts. But at the same time, since he has so much absolute power, it is also the biggest rivalry to democracy. The system that he had fought so hard for ruined because of how strong he is. Because at the end of the day, war starts and end with this version of Captain America. He's the only real choice that really matters. And in this version of absolute Captain America, the Marvel universe really has no other superheroes because it would just mitigate his strength for this story. So from now on in the story, just assume there's not really any big Marvel hero to really rival Captain America. So this absolute Captain America is the first and only Avenger. So no country would ever start a war unless they had Captain America on their side, and no country would ever surrender if they had Captain America on their side. A good comparison of what I'm trying to go with this absolute Captain America would much be like Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen comic, where since Dr. Manhattan is the most powerful in his world, being stronger than even nukes itself, he's the ultimate war detractor because Dr. Manhattan aligns himself with America, so no one would ever dare pick a fight with them. But unlike Dr. Manhattan, Captain America chooses to help everyone he can because at the end of the day, he hates bullies because of what he faced in his life and what he faced when he was a weakling. So with this much power, he would choose to help the little people who can't help themselves by ending all world conflict so he doesn't have to suffer like all his friends did in his life. But at the same time, since absolute Captain America is so strong, he can't be aligned with just America because he can't stand by and let other countries suffer when he is capable of helping everyone. But what I would find interesting about this absolute version version of Captain America is what it does to him psychologically and mentally. Because we all know Captain America's best stories always come from stories where he's on the fence with the government and their issues that they are trying to force onto him and to others. Think of a Captain America Civil War with the Sokovia Accord, where they're trying to put restrictions on heroes.
But it's run by people with agendas, and agendas change.
That's good. That's why I'm here. When I realized what my weapons were capable of in the wrong hands, I shut it down, stopped manufacturing.
Tony, you chose to do that. If we sign this, we surrender our right to choose. What if this panel sends us somewhere we don't think we should go? What if there's somewhere we need to go and they don't let us? We may not be perfect, but the safest hands are still our own.
So this version of Captain America will be battling so many mental battles, deciding what side he should fight on wars or other political issues, because he is the ultimate weapon. And I would also love to see how Captain America and other countries would end up regulating him, because unlike a character like Dr. Mahan, Captain America has a conscience. He can't just wait for a bill to pass for him to go into war and allow him to take a side. Or if he doesn't want to be regulated, he will definitely not let any sole country control him, because that would just be a disaster, because it would just make one country the ultimate superpower. And absolute Captain America also doesn't have the knowledge to comprehend everything that is going on in the world, because he is also just a man mentally. So he would have to have a really good support group, maybe like a Bucky, maybe like an Iron Man, to help him make all these difficult decisions in his life when he's this powerful. So I think that would make for really interesting stories, because Captain America's best stories will always be him debating between gray areas of the government and always wanting to fight for the right thing. But since he has so much power, can this version of Captain America handle this pressure to have this much power? Because like the saying goes, and can absolute Captain America tackle the idea of him eventually becoming a dictator of war, where he has full control over everyone's actions when it comes to wartime, which makes him kind of what he was fighting against in Germany, not even realizing that he might slowly become it? Or will Captain America allow the nations to keep him regulated like a lapdog who is not allowed into battle unless the nations come to agreement that he's allowed to help people in need? But at the same time, putting this many regulations on a single person isn't what Captain America stands for. He would never want someone to be a lesser human, have lesser rights, because he is simply more powerful than the average person, which makes Captain America live in a gray area of every version of the government, where he has to break one of his codes and he has to decide which code he wants to break to do the right thing, which will make for amazing storytelling. And if a good writer, a writer better than me, could make a good story with this, I believe this would be an amazing story if they used this version of a Captain America. But that is just my pitch for absolute Captain America. Now, I know it's not perfect. I'm not claiming to be the best writer ever. I'm not some Socrates. I don't claim to be a Shakespeare. But even though I'm not an amazing writer, I think this is a pretty good outline of what an absolute Captain America could look like if we took away his patriotism. Obviously, you could take away some other aspects. Maybe you want to take away the super soldier serum from him, which would make for an interesting story, but I feel like taking away his patriotism makes him more of an interesting character. But let me know, if you guys were supposed to create an absolute Captain America, what would your pitch look like? I would love to hear all of your guys' pitch ideas. Also, let me know if you want me to do another character pitch like this. I do have an absolute Thor pitch, which I think is a pretty good idea, and pretty much the absolute Thor idea would be, what if he was not worthy enough to wield a Mjolnir, which I feel like is a pretty good concept, and I kind of have a little rough outline for it. So if you guys want to hear about that, just make sure to like and comment so I know you guys like this type of video. But I hope to see you guys next time. Make sure to like and subscribe, because like I said, 99% of you guys aren't subscribed, so don't be that 99%, be that 1%. Later, hater. Peace.